Welcome back, everybody. It's still Nick, and it is still day 3372. And today marks the end of an era because I believe we will be finishing Amara's Rose tonight. I'm excited to have it come to a close. I'm actually also very excited to start brainstorming on what we want to do next. We could do Rise of the Heroes, but there's a million things we could do. I would love to take suggestions. I would love to approach a new piece of fiction that we haven't actually dealt with yet, because I think that's going to be better at like hitting me sideways and being like, wait, what the fuck? So if anybody happens to have any pet bad authors, then by all means, please do not hesitate to raise the issue, because I'm very curious. I love, love, love bad books. Like, I'll do Wattpad, I'll do anything. We've only got like 30 pages left, so it might end up being a short night. I don't know. I think we'll just finish it. We'll go ahead and finish it. Does that sound good? Can anybody in the audience tell me, remind me, where we were when we last left off? No? That's all right. So, Rose is back on her. Rose is still on Earth. I don't think that her friends have figured anything out at all. Yeah, catch us up. Well, if y'all remember last chapter and every previous chapter, Rose was being an annoying bitch who nobody likes. Chuck Tingle books? I'm actually curious. I have not read any Chuck Tingle. I'm familiar. Like, obviously, I know him by reputation, but I've not actually ever read any of his books, so I don't really know what they're like about. That would be fun. Also, an option as far as known quantities go, I would be willing to do some one-shot stuff with like Roy Orbison wrapped in clingfilm.com. That guy, I love that author. So she escaped from her kidnappers, and Ben and her dad found her and saved her, and then they... what did happen? They took her home. Time for a father-daughter chat about his so-called death. And then she was like, why? And he's like, to protect you. And she's like, from what? And he's like, I can't say. You're simply a coward. You're spineless and weak. And then he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And then I'm like, oh, and if I tell you what's going on, you'll die. And she's like, okay, trust. Like, I believe you. And then that her mom has a spare key, and she is also pretty predictably alive. And then he said, go back to your house on Amara and get the trunk in the back of the closet, and then you'll start having these dreams, and then when you have the dreams, you should open it, and the trunk has everything you need. And she's like, for real? And he's like, for real. And then I can't tell you I've already said too much. But I don't know how she intends to get back to Amara, because they still haven't solved that problem at all. Which I guess for at least this next chapter is irrelevant, because chapter 35 is from Phoenix's perspective. Here we go. Chapter 35, Phoenix. In the past 4 days since the broken portal dumped me out on Dragon's Ridge after holding on to me for 2 months, I've discovered how much I missed when I was gone. On the other hand, it also seems like little actually happened during that time. Certainly nothing has happened here in the castle during the past 4 days either. No one's found the notebook, and there are still vast portions of the castle that need to be searched. Unfortunately, everyone's dedication is wearing thin. Fewer townspeople hike up to the castle each day to help search. More and more of them are resuming their old lives. Even the search efforts of the palace servants are lackluster and dispirited. I kick at the elegant little trash bin in the corner of Sylvia's room and groan in frustration. I can't believe Rose hasn't found a way to contact us yet. Even if she is on another world, I'd think she'd have figured out a way to send some sort of message. There's like dialogue, but they have not expressed who she's fucking talking to, so I don't know what kind of voice to do. I assume it's Sylvia. I know. Do you think that do you think that means that she... It does not mean that. Phoenix, I think it's something we have to consider. Sylvia picks worriedly at her bedspread and avoids my gaze. It's been a long time. She might not ever come home. No, I can't even think of that. I have to find that notebook. It's too bad there are so many books in the castle. A lot of them are in the library, but we have already looked at all of those. Then there's the ones in the war room. Those have been carefully searched. And the notebook in... Wait a second. I figured it all out. I know where the old notebook is. The one that Erin McElnelly wrote about in her journal. The one we've been searching for. I sprint out of Sylvia's room. She calls to me, but I don't answer. The alcove I want is in the main hallway between the front entry of the castle and Sylvia's room in the west wing. And what I really want is the marble statue of the old guy with an angel on his shoulder. And in the angel's hand is a book. A very old book, I bet. It's got to be the notebook. Why didn't I realize this sooner? A king, a book, it all makes sense. The statue's made of marble, but the book isn't. It's a real book. It is the perfect hiding place. King Ulysses was indeed clever. Hide something important in an obvious place, and no one will ever bother to look closely at it. Everything with top-secret information is assumed to be locked up somewhere, not hidden in the upraised, dusty hands of a marble statue where just anyone could stumble upon it. Plenty of people see that statue every day. Hiding it in plain sight was genius. I stand on tiptoes and snatch the book out of the angel's secure grasp, which looks like it was carved just for this journal. It figures, I snort. It undoubtedly was. Sylvia catches up to me as I blow the dust off the cover. What is going on? She asks me, bewildered. This is it, I say, excitedly, while holding it up. This is the notebook Erin McElnelly wrote about in her journal. I'm sure of it. Sylvia's eyes widen. I quickly open the book, trying not to harm it. I hold my breath as we gently flip through the pages. Sylvia presses against me and looks over my shoulder. Together we discover pages and pages of handwritten words. We avidly read sections of the faded black ink. Everything a gatekeeper could possibly want to know. Well, almost everything. Sylvia and I catch each other's eye. Nervously, I turn to the last pages in the book, and there I find what we've really been looking for. Replicating the key, the page heading says. In order to replicate the key, a device that can open portals to thousands of worlds, you must first... A list of directions follows. Sylvia, we did it! I squeak, pointing at the page. Yes! Sylvia shouts, jumping up and down. We found the instructions. I cannot believe it. We smile hugely and hug again, then all but float back to her room. With plump pillows at our back, we sit side by side on her bed and reread the all-important section of the notebook. 5 minutes later, I leap off the bed because I want to scream the exciting news from the rooftops of the castle. Sylvia's voice stops me. Let us go tell my mother and father first. She's right. We need to do this properly, and that means letting the king and queen know immediately, especially since we'll need their help. She motions for me to follow her. Come on, we are wasting daylight. The king and queen are nearly as excited as we are, although they exercise more restraint. They help us gather the few items we need, a key mold, a fire, a few other special ingredients, and of course, Sylvia and myself. It is so simple.
The queen also has one of the servants go spread the good news. The notebook has been found. The process of making a new key is underway, and we will use the key tomorrow morning to bring Rose home. The new key is completed by sundown. We're flushed with success, grinning and patting each other on the back. Yeah, that's so fucked. They're like, finally, we found this thing. Instructions to make the key, and then there were the instructions. Ingredients included a fire, a key mold, other stuff. And like, come on, man. And then it's just like the new key is completed by sundown. Like the entire Celebrimbor ring forging scene is like, and then they did a ring earlier. You don't get to see. It's not that important. It's so funny. It's a thing we run into a lot with these bad authors is that like they have such long dialogues about like dumb shit that doesn't matter at all. Usually like interpersonal drama, and then like the most exciting non-dialogue based thing possible happens, and they're like, and then we had a fight, and I won the fight. And it's like, come on, man. That's like the poker scene. They did, and they're like, and after some poker, I won at poker. It's like, come on. That's like if you skipped over the entire like Baccarat scene in that Daniel Craig James Bond Casino Royale. Like that's the movie. What are you doing? Chapter 36, Rose's perspective. The doorbell peals, startling me. Ben laughs at me as I nearly jump through the ceiling. Jerk, I call to him as I get up to answer the door, knowing he's following me. Before I unlock and open the front door, I instinctively reach for my boot to grab my knife. Then I recall that I am not, in fact, wearing shoes. Besides, Matilda took away my knife. She got upset when I stuck it in the wall next to Ben's head after I got mad at him. Apparently, it's expensive to fix walls on Earth. But all thoughts of my knife flee when I open the door. She fucking loves that knife. My shocked mind takes a moment to register what I'm seeing, and then I glower at the person on the doorstep. My body tenses. I can only hope my face portrays the get off my front steps look I feel and try to communicate. My eyes shoot daggers, my lips curl in disgust, and hatred radiates from every square inch of me. Who is she to show up here? She has no right. Besides, what in the world is she even doing on this planet? Ben must have seen my reaction because he immediately stiffens beside me. What are you doing here? I growl at her. What a nice way to greet me, says the girl with dark brown hair and green eyes that match my father's. I came here because I sensed you were here. Besides, I figured our father is probably lurking about somewhere. I thought, since he is my dad too, he should at least give me a room to stay in until I can figure out how to get back home. She uses that snotty tone she knows I hate. She brushes past me into the house. I quickly decide to jump her from behind and damage her face. But Ben grabs my arm. Who is that? He asks. He pulls me along the hallway as we watch her enter the living room, look around, and make herself comfortable on the couch. She's taller than I am and moves gracefully. Her gaze is riveted on Ben and she checks him out. She shouldn't be looking at him. I must have made a noise because her eyes dart between the two of us. Ben, that is Elizabeth Delilah Sanders, my enemy, aka Lexi, and my not-so-lovely older sister, who I had sincerely hoped was dead. I say loud enough for her to hear. Temper, temper, dear sister. You always had an issue with yours, she says cattily. I try my hardest not to beat the snot out of her. Attitude, attitude, dear sister. Yours is extremely unattractive. Explanation, please? Ben looks back and forth between the two of us. He's probably only standing close to me because he knows he might need to restrain me. I have to get away from this vile girl before I kill her, so I drag him up to the room I've been staying in and shut the door. I flop down on the bed and stare at the ceiling. Ben lies down next to me. I hope Lexi stays on the couch where I left her, but frankly, I wish she'd just get bored and leave. I groan in frustration. Now I'm gonna have to tell Ben about her. It was easy to ignore her existence when she wasn't here, but now I have no choice. Elizabeth, or Lexi, is my sister. I blow out a frustrated sigh. After my father supposedly died in battle, my mother had a mental breakdown and abandoned me and my sister. Well, except now I know she didn't have a breakdown. She had to leave, but she still abandoned me and my sister. Ben rolls on his side and props his head on his hand. His eyes are wide, and he looks shocked. I guess my family history isn't exactly the prettiest. No one in our village even remembers Elizabeth. Inner monologue, or maybe they just never talk about her in front of me since the rest of my family is a taboo topic in my presence. I've made that clear enough to everyone. I mean, they didn't even go look for my sister after she disappeared, so clearly there's no need to remember her. Wow, he says. That's really weird. Yup, and since then, no one has made the connection between Lexi, our enemy who is apparently mad at the world, and my sister, Elizabeth, who mysteriously disappeared. He sits up to study my face. Why did your sister run away? I was getting to that. Be patient. I try not to snap or take my anger out on him. We fought a lot after we were abandoned. We only had each other to blame and scream at. Ben's eyebrows shoot up. Anyway, Elizabeth ran away, and I didn't see her again for years. Not until after I joined the army. Then I met her because she'd formed her own army. Later, I figured out she was trying to take down the public servants and other people who hadn't wanted to look for our mother. She got me off by myself on the battlefield. Freezing. She got me off by myself on the battlefield, and the first time we met... Wait. She got me off... God damn it. She got me off by myself on the battlefield the first time we met, and she yelled at me that she despised every single person in our village who had simply accepted our mother's disappearance and had moved on with their lives. I swallow hard as I remember the hatred and resentment in her eyes that day. I was shocked, but even then, I didn't realize how messed up she'd become. Basically, she just couldn't cope. She was a monster, leading an army of wicked beings, trying to burn our homes and kill those she felt were responsible for Mom still being lost. She was cruel and evil. My hatred for her increased when I saw what she had become. I felt repulsed that I was related to her. No one but me knew her real identity. She did a lot to cover it up. Plus, about 3 years had passed, so she looked different and no one really saw her up close. How do you know no one knew her real identity? No one ever talks about Elizabeth. They just talk about Lexi. I sit up as well. If they knew our enemy was my sister, they would handle the battles between us differently, I'm sure. Although that would piss me off if they did. So you never told them? What a stupid question. Of course not. She isn't my sister anymore. The day she left, she failed to be family to me. From then on out, she was Lexi, my enemy, the person trying to attack my village. Okay, Ben says warily, glancing at me out of the corner of his eye. My sister and I were very close when we were young. We were practically the same person back then, but now we couldn't be any more different. Ben nods slowly and watches me closely as I continue. She fights against our kind. She lives only to destroy those who have hurt her in the past, and she doesn't know right from wrong. She can't get it through her thick skull that the past is the past, and we can't change it. I'm getting so worked up that I have to stand and pace the floor. Even though we'll likely never see our mom again, Lexi still feels the need to come after everyone, to destroy everything she once loved. Elizabeth has always been a whiny brat and had to always have Mom's attention. So with Mom gone and no one seeming to care, well, I shrug. And now she's sitting here in our father's living room. I throw my hands in the air. A sensation fills my gut, and warmth and comfort flow within me. Frick! Why does he choose to show up now of all times, with her here? I feel like throwing something, I'm so angry. But what's the point? Resignedly, I tell Ben, my father's home. I guess it's time for some family counseling, I snort. Ben looks thoughtful as he nods absently and stares at the wall. Good luck, he calls, his mind clearly elsewhere. Fine. I leave him, stomping down the stairs and into the living room. He doesn't follow. Smart guy. Family fights are for family only. Lexi is sitting on one end of the couch, and my father is in the single chair. Matilda is clanking around in the kitchen, probably baking something, which she does a lot. I stand in the doorway to the living room, my arms crossed, not moving into the room. My father turns in my direction, and I notice he's holding Lexi's knife. Interesting. When Dad sees me, his look of pleasure turns even brighter. Rose, your sister is here! He sees the glare I shoot her, so he frowns and gestures toward the couch. Although I gather you're not happy to see her. Please, come in and sit down. No, I refuse, not moving a muscle. I am not sitting next to her. My father speaks in a commanding tone I haven't heard in years. Now. Oh, what is this? Oh, jorking someone in a battlefield. Hey, enigmatic. I didn't see you came in. I got her off on the battlefield. I roll my eyes and saunter over to the couch, sit down and cross my legs at the knee, and I refuse to look at my dearest sister. Girls, I think you two have some explaining to do, he says calmly. Lexi and I turn and point to each other. She drove Mother away, we say at the same time. Did not, we reply in unison. Okay, that was freaky. How quickly we fell back into old patterns of arguing, but also of thinking the same thing. Girls, your mother leaving was not your fault. She had her reasons for going away, and with time, you will discover them for yourselves, Dad says gently but firmly. I'm kind of making Dad sound like an unaccentuated Goofy, like Disney's Goofy. Oh gosh, guys. Max, I'm going to teach you about the perfect cast. This is the same thing that came up the other day. Mother apparently went to fight off my fate. But why? You two need to understand that there's more going on here than meets the eye, he sighs, his shoulders sagging as if the weight of the world is on them. The two of you need to team up and get along because soon Rose is going to need all of the help she can get. He looks at me painfully, like I'm going to die. But I'm not going to, am I? I square my shoulders. Of course I'm not going to die. Well, I certainly don't need her help, I protest. If anyone is going to kill me, it would be Lexi. His ambiguity is annoying me, but I have to keep trusting him. He has yet to lie. Dad, what are you even talking about? I cannot tell you. You will find out in due time, he repeats impassively, looking at each of us in turn. Wow, you're helpful, I sass back. I can't help it. His reticence is grinding down my patience. His eyes narrow at me and anger passes over his face before he takes a deep breath and noticeably relaxes. With a serious look, he explains, Just know you will soon be facing something on a very large scale, Rose, and you will need all the help you can get. You two used to get along splendidly as children, and there's no reason you can't go back to that. He leans forward and catches our eye. Rose, Don't you remember when you wanted to be just like Elizabeth? You thought she was the coolest big sister ever. And Elizabeth, don't you remember when you would do anything for Rose? When you made sure she was always taken care of? Lexi and I avoid looking at each other, and neither of us answers him. He continues. Sure, you two had your fights, mostly over pets, but you always forgave each other and went back to being best friends. You guys used to be attached at the hip, the unbeatable duo. I know he is telling the truth. Darn it. This conversation is not going well, because he can make Elizabeth and I agree to anything. When we were little and she traumatized my pets, I was ready to go to war with her. But in minutes, he always calmed me down and magically turned us back into best friends again. I'm sorry? Excuse me? When she traumatized my pets? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? That's like, what? No, no, no. Sam from Sam and Max. I don't know what Sam from Sam and Max sounds like. Traumatized my pets. She created an army to attack our city, I say childishly. Yeah, like a kid would say, you know. He doesn't look very surprised as he glances between the two of us. How can my father not be mad at her? She made an army. I mean, there's teenage rebellion, and then there's teenage anarchy. I get the whole I'll always love my child thing he's got going on, but seriously, anarchy. He can't just brush over that and skip to the oh she never meant it stage. You can't just accidentally gather a group of giants to pillage Alethea. It's impossible. You know, when you raise an army, anarchy, when you raise an army and siege a city. Elizabeth, do you regret leading that army? He says sternly. Now, kids. Lexi sighs and finally answers him. Yes, Dad, I do regret it. And I did every time I had to lead it, too. She looks at the floor. I created the army out of my hatred for those villagers who didn't help us to look for Mother, but that was only in the beginning. After that, it wasn't my choice anymore. Her voice lowers until I can barely hear it. It was never my choice. Oh, baloney. How is it not your choice? I scream at her. You caused wars against our hometown. You don't understand, Rose. You will never understand what I went through, she says miserably. Really? Is she that ignorant? I went through the exact same thing as you when Mother left. You're not some special little flower who gets excused for her wrong actions. I had no choice. Tears come to her eyes. Please understand. I wish it had never happened. She really does look like she regrets it, and I'm surprised, but years of bitterness toward her refuse to be quelled. Right, because it was an accident that... Girls! My father interjects loudly. I close my mouth, and we both turn to him. The point is, she regrets it, see? You heard for yourself. And now that you know that, do you still hate her? He asks me. With every fiber of my being, I say snottily. Liar! Lexi shouts and points at me. How dare she accuse me of lying? She should be able to tell I'm not lying. She's a Marian, after all, and on top of that, she's my sister. Okay, well, it sure feels like I'm telling the truth. I mean, after all she's done to our village, how can I not detest even the thought of her? I look over at the... I'm sorry. Wait, this is a really good sentence. I look over at the tears threatening to... Oh, down her cheeks. I thought it said my cheeks. I look over at the tears threatening to roll down her cheeks, and I open my mind to the possibility that she's telling the truth. That she really, truly regrets what she's done. Once I do that, waves of her honesty and sincerity wash over me. Leaning back against the cushion, I feel deflated, like something hard and ugly has disappeared from inside of me. Well, maybe I don't hate her as much now that I know she regrets the army and attacks, but that doesn't mean I still don't dislike her. My father looks at me pointedly as he waits for my reply. Answer truthfully, he says. Do you still hate your sister? I squirm and admit sullenly, not as much as before, and shoot Lexi a glare. It feels like she's winning this battle. My father leans forward and clasps his hands together. Now he's going to take his final step in getting us to forgive each other. He always does the same thing after one of us admits she regrets what she did, and the other one, usually reluctantly, forgives her. He's going to tell us stories of when we got along. Come on, girls. Don't you remember the time your mother brought back firecrackers from Earth for you, and you two decided to set them off in the middle of class? I resist the urge to smile, because I remember that day very well. And we all got let out of school early because our teacher thought the world was ending, Elizabeth says, faintly smiling. I laugh to myself. Our teacher had run out of the room screaming that we were all going to die and that we all needed to go home to our families. I was only 6 and Elizabeth was 9, and it was our first prank on the people of our village. I smile warily at Elizabeth, who returns the look. Sharing a smile over an old memory feels good. Really good. An overwhelming emotion swallows me. I just want to be a family again. I want to be that happy family who always helps each other, and not what I am, a single person who lives in a lonely, one-person cabin in the middle of nowhere. Then I remember the reason I live in a cabin all by myself, and that reason is currently in the room. The past can't be undone. I frown at Lexi and turn away to stare at the ceiling, attempting to stop the tears that gather in my eyes. I refuse to be the first one to completely lose it. I can feel Dad's scolding eyes on me. Girls, you have to understand that the things that happened in the past happened for a reason. Now, if you just... I jump to my feet, both angry and worried. And what exactly is that reason? Since you seem to like to bring it up, why don't you just tell me? Rosalind! He frowns and nods at the couch to indicate I should sit back down. No one has called me Rosalind in a long time. We talked about this, and I was dead serious. I cannot tell you. Trust me. And I do. I trust him. But I'm just not used to being left in the dark. I hate not knowing something that other people do. But I guess that's the way it's going to be. I blow out a deep breath of air and sit back down again. His eyes plead. Please, girls, forgive each other, and forgive me. I'm sorry for what I did. The grief of leaving my girls almost killed me, but it was something I had to do. The fighting between the two of you is senseless. You need to understand that none of what happened, my death, your mother's disappearance, they weren't the fault of either of you. We all need to forgive and forget, and to move on together as a family. My father says this in such an earnest tone, and with so much regret, that tears form in my eyes once again. They threaten to spill over, but I hold them back. I want to forgive her, I say brokenly as I stare at the floor. But I don't know if I can. All the pain of my wretched childhood after my parents were gone comes rushing back to me. The pain of living as someone's pseudo-child until I was 12 and put my foot down. I got a job and built my own little house, far away from everyone. I look at my father and my sister through watery eyes and realize that that little girl, now grown up, just wants a family again. Elizabeth returns my gaze and her voice wavers. I missed you. My heart soars. I missed you too, I say, standing up and hesitantly opening my arms towards her. She wavers for a second before rising to hug me. We hold on to each other tightly for a second before awkwardly pulling apart. So you girls have forgiven each other? Dad asks. We both nod. Then you can forgive me as well. My father stands up, eyes earnest. Elizabeth and I hug him in answer to his question. I look up and see he's smiling. We all are. I have a family again. A real, actual family. We can do family things now and live the happy ending I never thought I'd be able to have. All of that calls for one thing. How about we go to the 7th Avenue Diner to celebrate, I suggest. Before they have a chance to reply, I shout through the house, Ben! Matilda! We're going out, come on! Ben gallops down the stairs, and Matilda rushes out of the kitchen, a wooden spoon in her hand and flour on her apron. Did I hear we're going out to eat? Ben asks, excitedly rubbing his hands together. Matilda's face lights up and she catches my father's nod. Yes, we are. So hurry and put on your shoes, dears. Wait. Oh, okay. Matilda. Yes, we are. So hurry and put on your shoes, dears, Matilda says, ushering us to the entryway and removing her apron all at the same time. I grab Elizabeth's shoulder, and we stay behind for a second. How did you know Dad lived here? Look, I'll tell you later, okay? She says, and walks into the entryway. I nod and quickly follow. We slip on our shoes without saying much because we're in too much of a hurry to get out of the house and to get to food as fast as possible. And we've just talked about some really emotional stuff, so it's a lot to process. Dogs start barking outside. I don't understand why humans keep them as pets. They're loud and annoying. At home, the only pets we have are horses, and out in the country, some animals that resemble Earth's cows, but ours are light pink. Ooh, lore. But who cares about barking dogs? I finally have a family again. Smiling, I swing open the door and come face to face with the one person I hope to never see again. Fido. Dun dun. What time is it? Yeah, alright, I'm gonna go pee and smoke. We got 20 pages left. A little bit of a cliffhanger. The criminals are back. Young lady, if you lead an army, yeah, the whole thing is very like God, it's such it's like broad emotional thing that like is just completely unearned. It's completely cheapened by this like immediate reconciliation. Years of warfare against one another. Like, is there no details of that? Like, you would think that if like Lexi had been running like mercenary raids on Alethea, that at some point over the last several years, Rose would have like made a friend in Gold Squad that gets killed by a giant, and so like by association she would blame her sister, and it would like be way past just like, now girls, remember when you set off a firecracker in third grade and your teacher responded extremely inappropriately like a quivering like white rabbit character. It's like, oh God, we're all what the fuck, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it's no way to like handle, you know, 26-year-olds. Like they're all gonna take their cues from you and also panic. Like just bizarre. Really bizarre. All right, I'll be right back.
Man, oh man. It is simultaneously, I think, the warmest day that it has been this week in town, and also the crispy coolest day that it has been here in the house. It'll be worth the $300 electricity bill. Probably not, but we'll see. Chapter 37. Phoenix's perspective. They have the key now. We're back at that. They're gonna go get her. The next morning, Sylvia and I set out bright and early from the castle and head into the village. It's a beautiful day for Rose's return. Early fall, the leaves are changing colors, and it's warm out. The portal we are going to open is for Earth, right? Sylvia asks as we walk through the square and admire the festivities already underway. I mean, that is what we agreed was the most likely choice based on the color. Are you still okay with that? Yes, I really believe that's the planet with the portal that took Rose away, I confirm. Come on, let's go to where that portal usually shows up. Sylvia immediately agrees. As we hike through the woods and discuss the specifics of our plan, I realize Sylvia knows more about how to use the key to open portals than I do. Much more. As a princess, it's one of the many things she has to know how to do, even though theoretically she should never actually have to use the key to open one. When we arrive at the place where Rose always crashes into the tree, I hand our creation to Sylvia. You know how to open portals. I don't. She looks surprised and gently wraps her fingers around the key, as if it were delicate. She says timidly, I just close my eyes and imagine Earth, right? Her hand shakes a little as she holds the key. Sylvia is clearly nervous. I believe so. A memory pops into my head. Do you remember what it looks like from when you sneaked there with Rose that one time? Yes, I remember. But why did you not come with us then? It was only for a few hours, Sylvia asks, frowning. I did not have a traveling permit at the time, and I, unlike you and Rose, do not break the rules. Fair enough, she laughs. This conversation sucks. Whew, she bought it. I smile. Let's do this. She nods. I'm glad my parents let us do this alone, she says, closing her eyes. A look of concentration wrinkles her brow. I can see her eyes moving back and forth beneath her lids, and her hand clenches the key as if it were going to disappear any second. This is a big moment for Sylvia. Her parents had originally insisted that she should be present when we tried this. Sylvia, however, stood up for herself and told them no. She said this was something for just her and me to do, to welcome our sister home, and so they agreed, trusting her to use the key to open a portal. That is one thing that changed while I was gone. Sylvia has taken a strong leadership role in the search for Rose, and for me, too, when I was gone, and she gained the trust of her parents. Quite an accomplishment, and I'm proud of her. It happened off screen, don't worry about it. A bright light suddenly appears. A portal! The whirling circle of vivid colors throws light into the clearing around us. Blue and brown hues mix in a circular pattern and pulsate around a white center, like a beacon for the lost. I stare in awe. A thrill runs through me, and a familiar sensation tugs in my gut. Home. I'm sorry? Shit. Oh shit, is Phoenix from Earth? Oh shit. I ignore it and turn to Sylvia. She jumps at my disturbance of the silence and opens her eyes and swiftly draws in her breath at the sight of the portal. I shift nervously from foot to foot. So you're going through it to look for her? Because I don't think the portal will go off by itself to seek her out, I say. The feeling in my gut keeps growing stronger the longer the portal is here. Sylvia frowns in concentration and she stares at the spinning colors. I was thinking of Rose when I opened the portal. Do you think it will have shown up on Earth near her because I did that? I search my limited knowledge of how Earth portals work and come up empty. I have no idea. I know only the basics. Sylvia faces me, concern marching across her face. Phoenix,
What if she isn't on Earth after all? The thought had already crossed my mind too many times to count, to be honest. Since this is the only portal we can open up by ourselves, if she doesn't come through it soon, we'll have to go back home and arrange for someone who's familiar with other planets to help us, which could take days. I mean, there are thousands of planets, and quite a few with portals of blue and brown shades, Sylvia continues, panic seeping into her voice. What if we have to... Sylvia and I both gasp at what we see come through the portal. Chapter 38, Rose. I freeze. What the heck? Why is Fido here? He is not allowed to waltz in and ruin my life just as I'm rebuilding it. The smile quickly drains from my face and I scowl at the smug-looking man on the top step of the stairs leading up to the porch. And where are the rest of his goons? I don't see them, but that doesn't mean they aren't here. That doesn't mean they aren't nearby. Damn it all. Why is Fido here? Ben wraps an arm around my waist and pulls me behind him. I only protest slightly. I'd rather stay back and scope out the situation than face it head on. Maybe I'm learning to be... Maybe I'm learning not to be so impulsive. Besides, I don't know what to do. My world was absolutely wonderful for a few brief minutes, and then everything fell to pieces. Fido is still hounding us. I still don't know how to get back to Amara, and my mother is still missing. So much for happy endings. My father pushes his way past me and Ben and steps onto the small porch. Fido and Dad stand nearly nose to nose, and the rest of us are in the doorway. "What do you want?" Dad says menacingly. "Counterfeit bills don't go over well with me, old man." He whips a gun out of his jacket pocket and levels it at my father. Matilda shrieks, but Dad stands firm. I stare at the familiar gun. Hell no! How dare Fido have the audacity to point that thing at my father? I try to push past Ben, but he blocks me and grabs hold of my arms. Fido continues. "Did you think we weren't going to find out that the money was counterfeit?" Counterfeit bills? Where did my father get those? Why did he have them? What is going on? I eye the gun again, then stare at Fido's squinty, pissed-off expression. Is he going to shoot my dad? No, I reason. Not if he still wants the money. My father straightens his shoulders and snarls. "This is a matter between you and me. Leave my family out of this." "Oh, but where's the fun in that?" The sadistic smile on the man's face makes my stomach churn. He aims the gun now at Ben, who raises his chin defiantly at Fido. Well, I was right about him not shooting my father. But... Ben? This time, when I lunge in front of Ben, I'm beyond his grasp before he can reach me. "Rose!" Ben tries to squeeze onto the front porch with my dad and me, but there's no room. Even Fido is forced to take a step back down toward the sidewalk. He's having trouble keeping his gun aimed at Ben, which was exactly my plan. I glare down at Fido. He and I have some unfinished business. Fido grins, but doesn't pull the trigger. Keep him talking until one of us thinks of something. "How did you find us?" I manage to ask him. Fido shrugs a shoulder and his lip curls on one side. "I don't answer questions from silly little girls." His gaze shoots back to Ben and Elizabeth, who somehow manage to squeeze themselves onto the porch behind me. Matilda must have remained just inside the door, but I can hear her quietly begging my father to be careful. "You shoot, and you'll wish you had never been born," I say in my most threatening growl. Fido's menacing stare is riveted out on me once again. "And what exactly is a little girl like you gonna do to stop me?" My first instinct is to throw myself at him and beat the guy to death. But I resist the urge. Words in this situation are going to work a whole lot better than my fists. I'm finally remembering the lessons my dad tries to teach me all those years ago. He looks me up and down. "You have 30 seconds to make your case before I shoot." He aims the gun at me, but I try to focus on my words and not the weapon. "Okay, well, you see..." Fido's hand tightens around the gun, and his finger clenches the trigger. Uh-oh. I am rapidly running out of time. Even I know a smart shooter doesn't put a finger on the trigger unless he plans to fire, and I would never give Fido credit for being smart. I hold up my hands to stop him. Okay, no, wait, I falter as I realize I'm about to get shot. Then, I break off. I'm gonna die. A sense of true fear runs through me. Never before have I thought I was going to die, not even when I battled Lexi. No witty comeback is rolling off my tongue, and I can't. I'm gonna die. Just when things were finally going well, I'm going to ruin them all by dying. Fido sees my panic and smiles. Apparently, there is no lost love between us, or else my time has just run out. His finger twitches, and he pulls the trigger. I shut my eyes, expecting to feel a hole blasted in me. There's nothing I can do to block a bullet. My entire body tenses, and I instinctively turn away from the noise of the gunshot. Fear and adrenaline rush white-hot through me in a split second. Fido screams. My eyes fly open. Why aren't I dead? But then I wish I am, because surely death is better than the devastating agony taking over the place where my heart once was. On the porch steps lies my father, face up, staring at the sky, and completely still. Blood is rapidly pooling around him, and his shirt and jacket are already saturated. Could he have survived such a direct hit? I hear a choked cry. It's me, but my entire body is frozen in shock. I can't feel anything except pain. More blood, from a different direction, runs into the pool forming around my father's feet on the lowest step, and my gaze numbly follows its source. A yard from my father lies Fido, dead, but from a different weapon. A very familiar-looking knife I have personally battled against is sticking out of his chest. Elizabeth stands over the man, her face a pale mask of disbelief. As far as I know, she's never actually killed anybody. My mind spins in a million directions. How did she get her knife back? I didn't have mine, and I didn't see her retrieve hers. David! Matilda screams in anguish as she hurls herself across the porch and down the steps to her husband's body. I'm not the only one who has just lost a loved one. My thoughts stop running in circles and instead focus on the tragedy that's just sinking in. My father has been shot. Killed. But that bullet had been coming for me, which means that he must have jumped in front of it. No, he couldn't have. But he did. No. No, 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 no. Daddy! I scream and lunge toward him to check his pulse to see if, by some miracle, he's still alive. Ben grabs me. I struggle desperately to get out of his grip. Let me go! Tears are streaming down my face. My whole body shakes as I sob. I can't believe what I'm seeing. All that blood on the steps is my father's. It's over. I'm so sorry, Rose, Ben says, holding me tightly around the waist. There's nothing you can do. He's gone. Mrs. Sanders has confirmed it. No, I just got him back, I shout, my voice cracking. He can't leave me now. This isn't fair. This isn't right. Why? Why did he have to do that? That's supposed to be me on the ground, not him. The words tumble out of me. A sharp pain is nearly crushing me. I have just met my father for the first time since childhood, and now he's gone. The unfairness overwhelms me, and I feel so alone. I've lost him a second time. I feel like a little girl again, waking up to an empty house, abandoned. But I wasn't completely abandoned back then, and I'm not now. Elizabeth is here, and she must be as horrified as I am. Probably even more so, since she's always been more emotional and sensitive about things than I have. And on top of that, she just killed a man. Her face is blank, unreadable. She's staring, her eyes empty and her jaw slack at the bodies. A lone tear rolls down her cheek, and a broken noise comes out of her mouth. No. A bright blue light suddenly illuminates the street, forcing my attention away from the tragedy surrounding us. Elizabeth whirls to look at it too. And despite Ben's strong grip on me, I gasp and nearly collapse, because there, in the middle of the street, is a portal. A beautiful, familiar, bluish-green colored portal. Its sapphire hue is shot through with emerald green, and the entire thing, bigger than my arms spread wide, seems alive as it rapidly spins clockwise. Even better, the center of the circle is the usual white color that all portals have. Home. That portal will take me home. Tears stream down my face again as I look at it. I can finally go home. But what about my father? His body? And what about Ben? I can't leave him. What about Elizabeth? Matilda? I stare at each of them in turn. My gut twists painfully. What am I supposed to do? That's the portal to home, I say, and point at it, but look at Ben. For some reason, he's frowning at the portal. Elizabeth is staring at it. Suddenly, all I can think of is home. My home. Amara. My beautiful woods. My picturesque village. And my friends. I can finally go home. All the time I've spent trapped on Earth has come to an end. My tears slow down as my brain whirls with thoughts of what I need to do now. I need to make a decision. A really, really difficult one. I throw up my protective emotional walls, and I block out my sadness and grief, just like I've been doing for years. There's no room for those emotions, because I need to focus on the decision at hand. It's a simple choice, but it's the hardest I've ever had to make. How can I be expected to choose? But I have to. Ben looks at me, and different emotions cascade across his face. Confusion, fear, grief, worry, regret, longing. I wonder if he knows how life-changing this moment is. Urgency fills me. I need to decide what my life will be like, and where. Do I return home and wait for the fate of my father hinted at? Do I return home and wait for the fate my father hinted at? Is it ridiculous to go back home when my own father said I might die if I do? Or should I stay on Earth with Ben? Is that too much like hiding from my responsibilities? My fate? Elizabeth catches my eye, a question written all over her face. But in her eyes, I see my answer. I've known it all along, but I was unwilling to face it. I answer her with a reluctant nod. Compassion sweeps across her face, along with relief. The decision was easy for her. So now we both know what we have to do. But can I do it? I know Elizabeth can. And so she does. After a quick look of farewell to each of us and a lingering look of grief at our father's body, she strides over to the portal and jumps inside. She did it with such determination that it's as if she hasn't a single regret about leaving Earth. I look at my father, who is a pale, unnaturally blue color in the light from the portal. He is dead, and there's nothing either Elizabeth or I can do about it. Perhaps in a fit of envy at the ease with which Elizabeth left, my thoughts, not surprisingly, turn cynical as I stare at the blazing portal she just jumped through. She's good at running away. That's all she's ever done when faced with difficulty. She ran away from her problems. She ran away from me. And now she's done it again and left me to deal with everything. Anger towards Elizabeth builds quickly in my chest, but as soon as it does, I hear my father's voice encouraging me to forgive her. He's right. After all, I've done my own version of running away. All these years, I've blocked off my feelings and never allowed anyone, except Sylvia or Phoenix, to get close to me. Matilda's sobs grow louder as she cradles my father in her arms. He's gone. I'll never see him again. I've lost him. Again. My heart has been ripped out of my chest, and I can't just leave it behind. I can't just walk away. My opportunity to get to know him again, to have a parent again, has been stolen from me. I glance at Fido's body with the knife sticking up from his chest. Even though he's dead, he got the best of me. Rage consumes me. Damn it! Damn it all! It's not fair! I collapsed to the ground, crawling toward my father. It's not fair! Rose. Rose, calm down. You'll get through this. It's gonna be okay. Ben kneels next to me, placing his hand on my chin to make me turn and look at him. I shake him off, whipping my head back towards my father. No, it's not. Don't you see? Nothing is ever okay. You think it is, and then it isn't. It's all one cruel ride you can never get off of. Tears run down my face and splatter on the ground beneath me as I rock back and forth. Rose, stand up, please. Ben pleads with me and I let him pull me to my feet. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. I stand limply in his arms, looking over at the portal glowing at the end of the walkway. It's my ticket home, the one thing I've been dying to see since I woke up on this forsaken planet. But right now, I hate the sight of it. Its appearance demands a choice, one I don't want to make, and resent being forced on me. But, of course, I've already made it, and Elizabeth saw it on my face as clearly as I saw it on hers. I study the portal for a few seconds. Is it spinning faster than it was a moment ago? What does that mean? Is it going to close soon? So now it's my turn. I look up at Ben. I want so badly to tell him he can come with me, that he should come with me, but the rule about humans not being allowed on Amara is a strict one. My heart screams that we could surely make an exception for Ben. He's a gatekeeper after all. But my head replies with the answer I know the king and queen would give me. No. I swallow hard and whisper to him, I'll miss you. He frowns and looks confused. Then his eyes widen and he glances at the portal. He tightens his grip on me and a look of desperation splashes across his face. He knows. Before he can say anything, I break free of his grip and kneel next to my father. Matilda is still sobbing quietly. Something glimmers in my father's hand from the bright light of the portal. It's my knife. I uncurl his fingers gently and take it out of his hand. When Fido turned up, my dad must have slipped Elizabeth's knife back to her, and he probably planned to use mine on Fido himself. My father always told me that a good knife can solve many problems. He was the reason I bought this knife. Another tear slides down my face. I silently vow to always keep this knife with me and never let it out of my possession again. I gently shut his eyes and kiss his cold cheek, then cross his hands over his chest and say an old blessing of death in a language foreign to Earth. It's the native language to Amara, an old dialect that I forced to break through the language translation portal. What? An old dialect that I force to break through the language translation portal travel forces. What the fuck are language translation portal travel forces? When have we ever heard about that? What are you talking about? Are you not allowed to speak non-Earth languages on Earth? What the fuck? It's an old dialect I forced to break through the language translation portal travel forces. Peace flows through me as I speak, and the wise old words and sounds comfort me. Matilda sits back on her heels, giving me space. This blessing is the most I can do for him, and the last thing. After I finish, she struggles to speak through her tears. I'll take care of him, Rose. I promise. I know you will. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me and for my father. I think he was happy here with you. I stand up, and she does too. I hug her, and she strokes my back comfortingly, reminding me of my own mother. I pull back. I have to go now. I glance at Ben out of the corner of my eye. Alone. We've grown too close, and I can't let him come with me. I should have stuck with my old ways, not letting anyone get too close to me. My father's death proves it. It's far too painful to be worth it. I have a job to do on Amara, and I can't let any emotion get in the way, especially emotions for a boy. What? Ben says, shock widening his eyes as he takes a step toward me. Why can't you stay? Why can't I come with you? You'll be back, right? I look one last time at the man lying on the steps in the pool of blood, now nightmarishly blue and purple in the reflected light of the portal. Blood he willingly shed to save me, I realize. Now I'm convinced beyond a doubt that he truly wanted only to protect me all these years, and that's why he never came home. Ben's pleas echo in my head, and I know I need to answer him, even if it is something neither of us want to hear. I face him and look straight I face him and look him straight in the eye. I have people back home who need me. I'm sorry, Ben. As soon as the words are out of my mouth, I take a few firm steps away from him and the bodies before I give in and pause. Everything in me is screaming to stay with him, but I know I can't do that. My heart is yelling at me, protesting against yet more hurt in such a short amount of time, but I can't listen to it. With my back still to Ben, I lean forward to take another step, but I can't move. My feet are stuck in place, refusing to listen to my brain's command. I close my eyes and shake my head in frustration. This is just another example that proves that letting emotions become invested in anything or anyone is a very bad idea. Ben suddenly grabs my arm. I should have known he would not let me leave. I pull out of his grasp, but I finally have the courage to look at him again. Deeply etched into his face are lines of sorrow and resignation. "Remember me," he says before he tugs me to him and kisses my lips. Whoa, whoa, whoa! It is a short but sweet kiss goodbye. My heart plummets and sours all at the same time. I never imagined my first kiss would be in goodbye. I drag myself out of his reach. The shimmering portal beckons and time is running out. Elizabeth went through the portal several minutes ago. Without another glance back, I run the best I can on my injured ankle down the walkway and toward the portal, tears streaming down my face harder than ever. The universe, it truly is cruel. Ben doesn't follow me. I'm glad he doesn't. After all that's happened, I don't know if I have the willpower to send him away or to block him from entering the portal with me. Go forward, with no emotional investment in anything or anyone, I remind myself again. Without slowing down, I run into the portal, and it shuts after me. We really end on a chapter that is not Rose? That seems crazy. Oh, wait. Phoenix, Sylvia. Yeah. There's two more chapters left. One is Phoenix's perspective and one is Sylvia. Chapter 39. Phoenix's perspective. Sylvia and I both gasp as someone suddenly tumbles out of the portal and quickly springs to her feet a few yards from us. I do not know the tall woman whose entire body is tense, ready for something. She's looking around, soaking everything in, when her eyes settle on Sylvia and me, and a look of surprise crosses her face. Elizabeth? Sylvia gasps. Elizabeth? This is Rose's sister? The one we never talk about? The one and only, she says, flipping her long black hair over her shoulder. Hi, Sylvia. Beside me, Sylvia's mouth hangs open and she's silent, so I follow her cue and don't say anything. So where did Elizabeth come from? Earth? No one seems to have any idea where she's been all these years. I know because we occasionally talk about Elizabeth when Rose isn't around. How would she have gotten there, though? And why? And when? Sylvia is still staring at her. Elizabeth looks inquiringly back and forth between the two of us, then shrugs and points over her shoulder at the portal. Rose should be coming through fairly soon. She just has to say goodbye to somebody, she casually adds. Or maybe not so casually. Worry clouds Elizabeth's green eyes, and it almost looks like she's blinking back tears. Why? Is Rose okay? Is something the matter with her? I try not to panic, but I need information. What happened? Is Rose okay? The questions spill out before I can stop them. I'm still not sure what to make of her, and Sylvia is being no help. Perhaps hearing my voice releases Sylvia from her fog, because she puts her hand on her hip and demands, quite venomously, of Elizabeth, "Where have you been all of these years?" Elizabeth looks uncomfortably at the ground, and I realize how rude we're being to her. I shoot a warning glare at Sylvia and add a friendly note to my voice as I say reassuringly to Elizabeth, "You don't have to tell us if you don't want to, Elizabeth. I'm just a stranger to you, although I've been told I'm a good listener. And I'm Rose's and Sylvia's best friend. How is she, by the way?" By now, I've left Sylvia's side and approached Elizabeth. She sniffs as she tries to hold back the silent tears rolling down her cheeks. "There was some trouble when we were on Earth." As she speaks, she looks worse and worse. "Our father is dead," she gasps, wiping away her tears. "And Rose has to leave someone else behind. Someone who she cares for." Sylvia draws next to me, her face registering the shock we both feel. "But Rose's father died years ago. I was at the funeral." Elizabeth shakes her head and her voice quavers. "Turns out our father has been on Earth the entire time to protect Rose, but he was killed a few minutes ago." What is going on? I look back and forth between the other two. I'm so lost I can't even begin to try to put together what's going on. I moved to Alethea so late that I missed all the important things. None of this makes any sense. Sylvia seems as overwhelmed and confused as I am. "I didn't. How did he die?" Her voice is barely audible. Elizabeth shakes her head no, as if she doesn't want to talk about it. Instead, she squares her shoulders and changes the subject. "It's good to see you again, Sylvia." Elizabeth smiles sadly and embraces her. "So you're still best friends with my sister?" She glances at me and adds, "The two of you are?" "Of course Phoenix and I are her best friends," Sylvia gestures toward me. "We always will be, and I haven't introduced you to Phoenix yet. I'm sorry. She moved here after you, left." "No wonder I didn't recognize you," she says to me. "Phoenix, nice to meet you. What town are you from?" My mind races. I'm from no man's land between towns. I moved here with my brother once. My mother let me," I tell her, hoping she doesn't see through my half-truth. "Wait a second. Sorry, Phoenix. I just thought of something totally off subject," Elizabeth says, stepping out of Sylvia's hug and looking at both of us. "How did Rose manage to get my mother's key? It's supposed to be passed down from mother to oldest daughter." Sylvia shakes her head and looks uncomfortable. Embarrassment floods Elizabeth's tear-stained face. "Oh, but I wasn't around, was I, as the eldest daughter? So I guess Rose ended up with it, although I've always assumed my mother took it with her when she left." Sylvia put her hand on Elizabeth's arm and said sympathetically, Your mother gave the key to a friend of hers to keep until Rose was old enough. I don't know why she didn't have the friend keep it for you, but you were gone and, well, Rose only acquired it a couple of years ago." While we've been talking, the portal has dimmed, but now it flares brightly again, almost as if it's sending out sparks to get our attention. We all turn to stare at it just in time to see Rose stumble through, barely keeping her feet beneath her. At least she doesn't crash into a tree. Thank goodness, she's home. But she's crying. Something is seriously wrong. Chapter 40, Sylvia's Perspective. I race towards Rose and envelop her in a huge hug. It actually says envelope her. Fighting back tears of happiness. "I'm so glad you're home. Oh, Rose, we were so worried about you." Phoenix joins in, and the three musketeers are reunited at last. "I missed you, my dear Rose." Another set of arms joins our group hug, Elizabeth's. Happiness and worry battle within me. Rose looks and sounds miserable. She's home, but at what cost did it take her to get here? She returns the hugs. I missed you guys too. Humans aren't good company. She sniffles on our shoulders. My head hurts from all the questions piling up, and I'm dying to find out why Rose is crying, but she looks like she's about ready to drop. Should we go home? I ask. Get some food and rest a bit? I'm sure you're tired, Rose. You too, Elizabeth. Phoenix nods. We can go to your house, Rose. It's closest. Yeah, please. Is there still cake at my house? Rose asks with a weak smile, doing what she does best, making sure the conversation's not too heavy. I don't think it's good anymore, Rose, Phoenix laughs, then her smile drops. You do know you've been missing for more than 2 months, don't you? She stops in her tracks. Excuse me? I've been gone how long? Let us go to your house and talk, I say, taking a few steps in the right direction to urge us all along. My brain is overwhelmed with thoughts, emotions, and questions. I'm sure Rose's is too. We will have plenty of time to answer all your questions then. Everyone follows quietly. Phoenix and I walk on either side of Rose, and Elizabeth trails slightly behind us. Thank goodness Rose's house is only minutes away. Why? Thank goodness? As soon as we arrive, Rose disappears into her room without saying a word. What is she doing? Elizabeth sits in one of the chairs, and Phoenix sits on the couch. I guess we were all assuming Rose will emerge from her room soon. And if not, well, we will all be here when she does. A moment later, Rose returns. At least she's no longer crying. She has something in her hand. A book. Why would she bring out a book? The day I disappeared, I went to Earth to get this book. Here's why. About a week prior to that, I found a journal of my mom's in a box I had taken out of her old room. I started to go through all her things in an attempt to organize them, maybe find more pictures of my family. Instead, I found her journal and... Rose clutches the book tightly, her voice shaking. Well, my mom knew other gatekeepers. There's a gatekeeper on every planet. I'm not the only one. My mom knew the one from Earth, Victoria Cooley, and my mom wrote about how Victoria had a book with the names of the other gatekeeping families in it. So I went to Earth, and I found it. It's this book. Rose holds it up so we can all see it, as if she doubts we believe her. Whoa, 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 whoa. When did Rose get this fucking book? She was, like, supposed to go to Portland, but then it turned out that Ben was a Cooley, which I think the assumption would be that his mom would be Victoria Cooley, but we never met his mom and dad, and his dad is the mayor, and it was like, they talked about it a lot, but it never... Oh, what the fuck. Elizabeth squirms and draws my attention. Rose's words about the book remind me that Elizabeth, as the eldest daughter, was supposed to have the key and be the gatekeeper. Too bad she disappeared. But to where? And how did she and Rose find each other on Earth? Rose continues talking, and I give her my full attention. This is obviously important to her. This book has some sort of I don't know what to call it, magical property maybe? The contents automatically update as the keys on various planets change hands. Do you know what this means? Excitement rises in Rose's voice. It means I can find the other gatekeepers, all the current ones. I can connect everyone. My mom wrote about how gatekeepers used to all know each other, how they used to work together, but something bad happened to separate everyone and keep them that way. She didn't know what. So she and Victoria were trying to reunite the gatekeepers and get them working together again. But she never said what the goal was they were all working toward. Rose trails off, biting her bottom lip in thought. Whoa, time out. Rose's behavior right now doesn't make any sense. When she first arrived, she seemed almost traumatized, which is understandable given what Elizabeth said about their father dying and that Rose had to say goodbye to someone else that she cared about too. But now Rose is acting as if nothing bad happened on Earth at all, as if her tears and heartache a little while ago were just whisked away, as if nothing else matters except for the exciting news about this book. But how could she so quickly forget about all of the terrible things that happened on Earth? That is crazy. I mean, I can imagine that finding out about other gatekeepers and maybe someday meeting them is super exciting to Rose, and I know she's an incredibly strong person who can set aside her emotions and focus on what needs to be done, but really? It is as if the contents of that book are more important than anything that might have happened on Earth, more important than anything in all the worlds. Technically the end, but there is an epilogue that I assume is meant to be also read as the real ending, because there's no way that's how the book fucking ends. Epilogue, no specific perspective. It's also all in a distinctly different font. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I can never go back to the place my father died. Oh, it's Rose's perspective. Even though it's been nearly 7 months, it would be too much. Most of the time I spent at his house in Chicago, I was mad at him for having pretended to be dead. Now he really is dead. That bullet was supposed to be for me, not him. He's gone, and I had only just forgiven him and let him become my parent again. How unfair is that? Just as he predicted, the dreams have come to torture me when I sleep and worry me during the day. They appeared only 6 short months after I returned from Earth, and for the past week I've been constantly plagued by them. But you won't read this anytime soon, I don't think. So how long it's been doesn't really matter, does it? Anyway, I'm 15 now. My new age means I'm a legal adult on 7 planets that I know of, which means more adventures await me, none of which will take place on Earth if I have my way. I told Phoenix and Sylvia everything, almost everything, that happened during my time on Earth. They were shocked, and then let me cry on their shoulders and offered me condolences and words of comfort. Even more than that, though, they really wanted to know about you, but I shut down that conversation very quickly. Life moved on, and so did we. I threw myself back into daily living and tried to get through my grieving for my father. No offense, but it was, and is, too painful to think about. Besides, I can't spare you any extra thoughts these days. Except for this letter. This is my indulgence. I want you to know that I can't let myself go back to Earth. If I did give in to temptation and visit you, it would drag you into things. Remember that mysterious fate my father spoke of and warned me about? Yeah, it's coming quickly. Lots of things are different here now. It seems like everyone changed while I was gone, which I suppose makes sense given everything that's happened. But still, I feel as though I was away from Amara for years. You're probably wondering about Elizabeth. She's now a regular part of Alethia's activities. She has a job at the seamstress's shop, and she lives with me. There's still plenty of tension in the house, but it's something we're working on together. She needs to parent me less and stop telling me what to do. I lived on my own for a long time, and I don't need her unsolicited advice every 3 seconds. We both try, though. We know we need each other after all that's happened. She and I haven't told anybody who she really is, not even Sylvia and Phoenix. Fortunately, no one here's done more than ask cursory questions about where she was all those years. We're just going to let them think what they already think, that she was on Earth, and move on. Sylvia has become a picture-perfect princess, which is exceptionally weird. Sylvia always said that she would never fit the princess mold that her mom set for her. She even sat all the way through a long meeting of the counselors not too long ago. At least now her mother lets her talk during the meetings. Not a lot, but she still gets to have input. And she says the old counselors actually listen to her too. It's weird. She even said she kind of enjoys the meetings now that she can speak. I know you don't know exactly how odd that is, but trust me, it is. She also has a regular air about her, and she seems more like her mother. More proper, more formal, and altogether very odd compared to how she used to be. I guess it's a good thing. She's still the same old Sylvia when it's just she and I in Phoenix, but I miss her having free time for adventures and being willing to do them. Speaking of free time, Phoenix invited us all to go camping and cliff diving with her a few weeks ago. Can you imagine? She's become a whole lot more courageous, which is very good news for my plans. I mean, adventures are so much more enjoyable and fulfilling when people I care about are around to participate in them. Not that she takes part in any of the really big stuff, but I'm working on that. Soon enough, I'll need her help cause general chaos and I'll need her help to cause general chaos and mayhem on a more serious level. Lives will depend on it, or at least that's what the dreams are telling me, and I believe them. Colin joins us more often than not these days. Phoenix isn't so nervous about showing that she cares for him in a way that it's more than friends. Ooh. Nothing has happened yet, but between you and me, Colin plans on asking Phoenix's brother if he can ask her out on an official date. And myself? Well, I've only made the most important discovery in the history of the worlds. I still haven't figured out why I appeared in this burned out section of Chicago that day, or why the Earth portal was acting so weird, but I think I'll have an answer to that soon. Do you remember when my father told me to go back to our old house and look in the closet for a trunk? I did, and, well, that's a story for another time, and I'll tell you after it's over. Because once I remove any threat of danger to you and certain other people, I'm coming back to slap you in the face for that kiss you gave me. It was not warranted, I'll have you know. In the meantime, duty and adventure awaits. The end. We're done. That's the book. Letter to Ben. What a stupid ending. What an annoying, stupid book where nothing interesting ever fucking happened. I hate Rose. I hate Rosalind Sanders. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Cook some dinner. So we will be back tomorrow with Minecraft Monday. Things are getting exciting. We went to the Aether this morning. We're really doing a lot of cross-dimensional stuff. And we'll look at getting the number 1 12 songs song polished up and made into something larger. Take a look at maybe trying to put some vocals onto Brainoid's song that he sent us today. Either way, it'll be good. It'll be good. All right, I will see you all in 22.5 hours. Sound good? All right.
That's the end of the show. All of us have got to go back on home. I hope you had a lot of fun. We'll catch you at the next one, or whenever we do.